Hello, I'm Ashley, and I am a woman who's had a VBAC after two cesareans, and I believe that many women can as well. There's a lot of information out there that is going to make you feel like you're preparing for a VBAC. However, it doesn't actually give you a chance at actually having your VBAC. So I want to share some of the things that I'm often hear from women that are not helping them have their VBAC and what actually could help you have your VBAC. So, number one, there's a strong focus on the body being the problem, the position being the problem, that we have to do all of the things when it comes to making our body ready to give birth vaginally. And of course, there is an element to truth to this. If you have tight muscles, if you're uncomfortable, if you've got an injury happening with your body, of course, it's really important to go get some body work done. I highly think that we should all go to a chiropractor, get a massage, go get those things done, have an acupuncture if we need to. However, I don't subscribe to this idea that we have to do all of these things, like spinning babies all of the time, that we have to go get body work. We have to spend thousands of dollars to make our bodies optimal to give birth. What I think is that we're missing information and knowledge about where we're actually birthing within the system, who our care providers are, whether we're actually being provided support, real support, or if we're getting tolerant support from our care providers. It matters so much more who you birth with and the space that you're actually birthing in. So, first of all, I want to ask these questions. What sort of preparation have you done emotionally for your VBAC? Have you considered doing some birth debriefing? Have you spoken to many people who know about physiological and vaginal birth, about what actually happened in your last birth? Lots of the time, women are offered birth debriefs by an obstetrician or a midwife within the hospital system, and it's a very short conversation. Usually it's a rewalking of the steps of what happened rather than an hour conversation that you might have with a private midwife who might walk you through some of the things that happen, allow space for you to share your story and actually unpack what had happened through that experience. That's a really great opportunity for you to start to realize what may have happened, to start unpacking some of those things. So I highly recommend, if you haven't had a birth debrief, to look into having a birth debrief, whether that's with a private midwife in your local area, someone like myself who offers birth debriefing. I am someone who had two cesareans, and I had multiple birth debriefs with many people. And every single time I had a birth debrief, I learned something new. There was a tiny little gold nugget that was missing from my story that helped me put together the pieces of what I needed to do to actually achieve my vaginal birth the third time. Because I wanted to have a vaginal birth with all three of my babies, but I only succeeded in my goal on my third time. And I learned so much by revisiting what happened in my first two births. I learned about the induction process. I learned about vaginal birth and how I could best succeed in vaginal birth. So, what I see a lot of the time when women are planning VBACs is they're focusing a lot on the physical stuff. And I think it's really important to understand how the physical body works, how physiological birth works, and how to support that process. So, understanding the hormones, understanding who the best support person might be for you, what sort of team would be good for you, where is the best, most VBAC supportive space for you to birth. And also how to advocate and use your voice, because a lot of women find it very challenging to use their voice. So, first of all, write it down if you haven't already about birth debriefing, because that's a really important thing to do. Second of all, of course, bodywork's important. If I think getting in the pool, I love getting in the pool, stretching my muscles. I had a massage the other day and it did wonders for my back, which I was having some problems with. So if you, of course, have problems with your muscles and things, of course, get that support. But we need to look at what sort of support and who you're birthing with and why you're birthing with those people, because you actually have a big array of people that you could choose from. You just may not realize that you actually have a choice. No matter where you are in the world, there are always choices. Maybe those choices are not things that you've considered as an option yet. Maybe you don't even realize that they're an option. I had to go through and think about some of those things, whereabouts I was birthing, who I was birthing with, what were the missing pieces of information that I didn't have. It's never as simple as I want to have a vaginal birth and hoping for the best and then ending up in a system or with a birth team who's tolerant of a VBAC, but they're not actually supportive of a vaginal birth after cesarean section. It's especially harder for women of coloured skin, women who are bigger bodied like myself, women who are of socio lower economic areas. Some of those women have an even harder task, and women who have had multiple C-sections or have special scars. Now, special scars is when there's an extra tear in the uterus, and you usually would have been told that through the surgery that you have an extra risk of a higher risk of a uterine rupture. I have a special scar myself, and when we choose healthcare providers, we may not get the same support as someone who is in a white body, that's a slim body, who's having a vaginal birth after one C-section. So it's really important to understand that there is bias within people who are working with this system, but the system is also biased as well. And so often the system is working against us to achieve certain things based on the policies and how they want to manage birth and labour through that process. So I think I've shared quite a lot with you, and I know there's a lot to unpack, but I hope that I've planted some seeds for you to get you pondering and start thinking. If you have enjoyed this, me talking about VBAC and how you can achieve your VBAC and giving you some hope that this is something that you can do no matter your size, your color, your location, the kind of C-section you had last time, however many C-sections you had, if you have a special scar, if you're a bigger person, I hope that it's inspired you to think outside the box a little bit. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more, come and join us in the VBAC Village, because that's where we have all the fun in unpacking all of this, really getting down to the nitty gritties and supporting you on your VBAC journey. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.